okay. Yes guys, welcome back to another video. I've got my breath back. I've also got the glasses that you guys seem to absolutely love in the videos at the moment. I'm feeling good for many different reasons. Today's video is a celebration. There's nothing more to it than that. Whether you believe in football returning or not, I'm bloody excited because on the 17th of May, we will be able to watch Premier League football again. And it's not just like the odd game every week now that's gonna be on TV. I know that like pretty much all football's on TV these days, somewhere in the world. All of the Premier League games will be shown across different time slots for the remainder of the season, which is absolutely incredible. There's gonna be plenty of weekends now throughout the summer where we could be out doing fun things, but we just won't be. We will be there on our phones in the park, or we'll be there in front of the TV. If only we had the pubs. We're not going to complain. So the Premier League have announced that the 17th of June will be the return of Premier League football. So what I thought we would do today, as a little celebration, but also we need to really dig into the fixtures. I'd kind of forgotten who we played twice and who we hadn't played twice. So we're going to take a look through Chelsea's remaining fixtures this season. Will we finish in the top four, which is what I want to know from you guys in the comment section of today's video. And I'm obviously going to take a look at the other challenges for the top four Champions League places. We've also got to remember that with football being played behind closed doors, the whole like home advantage, is that really going to be a thing? Are clubs going to have the same effect of having their home stadium and their home pitch? And I guess we're going to learn how much Premier League home crowds actually influence what we see in terms of the quality of football and the balance and shift of play on the pitch. Because obviously, like, it's one thing doing something with the ball, but when you start getting the psychological influence of crowd noise, things can change quite dramatically. So with that not available, football as we know it might not be what we see upon its return. So home and away games, is it important? We're going to get into that today. But before we do, please subscribe to the George Benson Football channel. That sounded like the most big thing. Please subscribe. I really need subscribers. I actually just quite like them. So hit it. And while you're at it as well, yesterday we set the like target of 2,000. We hit that within 4 hours. I'm going to make this one ridiculous. 4,000 likes. I believe in the GBFC community, the George Benson Football channel, George Benson Football Club. More for that very soon. The first thing that we need to know is upon Chelsea's Premier League return, we will be without Jorginho. He has got one more game as a suspension, and with N'Golo Kante also not currently training, it will be up to either the player, which obviously is the first choice and the first question that needs to be asked, will Kante want to play? Secondly, will Frank think that Kante's done enough training to walk straight back into the first team, which does mean we might see that little partnership again of Billy Gilmour and Ross Barkley in a Chelsea midfield, which we saw against Everton, we saw it against Liverpool, and it worked very well. And Chelsea's form pre-COVID-19 was actually starting to look quite good. And when I say form, we're normally talking about like a more sustained period of games. It was only 2 good wins in a row, but it was very good. The actual quality of the performances, the fluidity of the football was the best that we've seen this season. So it came at the worst time for Chelsea. It came at the worst time for everybody. There's not a good time for COVID-19. Chelsea were on a good little run. We're going to take a look at the remaining fixtures. This is huge, okay? Like, we might not be able to go to the stadiums, but at least the Premier League are doing everything they possibly can to make football accessible for everybody. Whether you can afford Sky Sports, BT Sport, or any of these things, some of them are going to be free to air, which is absolutely sensational. We don't know as of right now. This is the first time I'm actually reading up on any of this information, so I'm actually coming at this video quite blind. Liverpool sit 25 points. Oh, for God's sake! Like, we know they're going to win the league. Okay, we just know it's. So Chelsea have still got to play 9 matches between now and the end of the season. 4 of them are at Stamford Bridge. 5 of them are away from home. Now, obviously, what we're looking for in this Chelsea fixture list are teams that have still got something to play for. There's always something to play for in the Premier League because each position equates to the prize money that is handed out at the end of the season. So the difference between finishing 14th and 10th is actually worth something valuable to football clubs, and particularly in this current footballing economy, which I think you guys are probably sick of me saying that at this point, money is pretty important. So Aston Villa are currently in 19th place in the table. They've got a game in hand, which is going to be that match against Sheffield United, who are also in the race for the Champions League. So Aston Villa away is going to be a very, very big game for both clubs because Chelsea are fighting for the top 4. Villa are fighting to stay up. It would have been huge for Aston Villa to have the fans inside Villa Park for this kind of fixture, but we've got to look at the positions in the table and the fact that home advantage may not longer be a thing. You've got to back Chelsea to win this one, so I do think we'd pick up 3 points. Manchester City at home. City and Pep Guardiola are going to have the luxury of having a full squad to choose from again, with injuries pretty much now, meaning that a lot of players that would have missed the rest of the season are now going to be back for their respective clubs. So Pep Guardiola's come out and said that his Manchester City team are looking fit. City aren't going to drop enough points. So in terms of that race for the top 4, Leicester are kind of still in it, even though they've got a 5-point cushion over Chelsea. United, Wolves, Sheffield United, I mean, we've got to give them the respect they deserve. And then obviously you've got Spurs and Arsenal, who Tottenham are going to have the return of Heung-min Son, Harry Kane, Bergwijn as well, attacking players that were injured that are going to come back now that we've had this break. So we can't rule all of these clubs out yet. Chelsea versus City, it's always going to be a tough game. Whether City know that Liverpool are on the cusp of the title or not, it's never going to be an easy game. I'd actually take a point at home to Manchester City. Home to Wolves is another big one. It's another team that are going to be challenging for the top 4. Wolves have not lost that many games this season. They've only had 6 defeats in 29 matches. But Chelsea are going to have to back themselves to win that one. I certainly believe we would after the performance away from home. Then there's Norwich at home. Obviously, Norwich are not yet relegated, but it is looking as though by this point they may be even more points adrift. Norwich have put in some good performances and have actually played some nice football this season, but I don't think they're going to have enough to come to Stamford Bridge and get a result. However, we've seen countless teams this season that Chelsea would have expected to beat at home, and then we haven't beaten them, such as West Ham, Bournemouth, Southampton off the top of my head. We should win that one. And then we should also beat Watford at home. Watford are 17th in the table. There's a bit of stuff going on at the moment with Troy Deeney. He's not happy to come back and play. That isn't going to be great for the football club, even though I totally respect and get what Troy Deeney is saying. But that off-the-pitch stuff is sometimes something that can affect the other players on the pitch, particularly when Troy Deeney is of the influence that he is. So looking at Chelsea's home fixtures, every single home fixture we have is against a club that are going to be playing for something, which is actually quite dangerous. City, out of all of them, are probably the club with the least to worry about in terms of how they finish the season. Of course, there is still 9 games to go. Nothing is set in stone until things are mathematically confirmed. Pep Guardiola is experienced enough to know that even though at the moment it's looking like they will be in the top 4, it's pretty much guaranteed, nothing is in fact guaranteed. So all of those home games that Chelsea have are going to have something riding on it. The away games, you've got Aston Villa away, we've already discussed that one, it's not going to be easy, they're fighting relegation. Palace away, bang in mid-table right now, that is one where Chelsea are going to be needing to go and look for 3 points. Liverpool away, they will have won the title by this point, and it probably would be Liverpool's last home game where they would end up lifting the trophy. Now, there is a whole discussion to be had about Liverpool I can't even speak properly because I don't want to have to say this. When Liverpool do end up alofting that Premier League trophy above their heads, when Jordan Henderson, in an empty stadium, lifts the Premier League trophy above his head, it will probably be after that game against Chelsea. Even though Liverpool won't have anything to play for, most likely, during that fixture, they're not going to want to lose to Chelsea and then lift the title in an empty stadium. They're going to want to win the game, have all of their fans happy on the TV at home, knowing that they've just beaten Chelsea, a team that have gone to Anfield in the past and ruined potential title parties. Remember the slip? Liverpool are going to want to win that game. So that is going to be a very tricky fixture. We know that we have to give Liverpool respect. They've been absolutely fantastic this season. That one's going to be tough. Sheffield United, I personally believe that by this stage in the fixtures, if we're going on the order that they would have been played, I think by the time we play Sheffield United away, their hopes of the top 4 might not be as in the balance as they may be right now. So Chelsea need to back themselves to go there and get the win. West Ham away as well. It's a London derby. It's not easy. If we're looking through all of these fixtures, 2 London derbies in there. You're playing against teams that all have something to play for. Liverpool, although they will probably be champions, will want to lift the trophy with a victory. So Chelsea's fixtures although there are a lot of teams in the bottom half of the table that we're still yet to play, I do believe that the fact that everyone's fighting for something means that we cannot underestimate any fixture between now and the end of the season. But the positive is, looking at what we're going to have available, Frank Lampard knows that after Jorginho serves the next game suspension in the first game back, and N'Golo Kante, if he decides to be ready, with Ruben Loftus-Cheek to come back as well, it's the first time that Frank Lampard has actually had the availability to pick from anybody within his squad, which we've not seen yet, and it's something that quite excites me, knowing that there is players that are going to be coming in come the end of this season. The top four is the biggest thing for every single club right now who has the chance of finishing in the top four. It's the dream. Liverpool have ran away with the Premier League this season. Yes, it's not mathematically done, but it's by the end of June, they'll be the champions. So we've all got to get this out of our heads, even though it's a difficult pill for us to swallow. Liverpool are going to be the champions. The top four and the race for relegation is everything else that everyone's going to be focusing on. So let's take a look at other teams' fixtures. You've got Sheffield United. They've got 4 matches at home, 5 away. They've got to go to Leicester, they've got to go to United, and they host Chelsea, Wolves, Everton and Spurs. That is not an easy fixture list for Sheffield United. Everton have looked a bit better since Ancelotti came in, even though they were beaten 4-0 at Stamford Bridge. That is a tough round of fixtures for Sheffield United. I don't think they're going to have enough to finish in the top 4. But that being said, respect where it is due for Chris Wilder's side. They've had a very, very good season indeed. So let's take a look at the teams on the outskirts who have got very minimal chance, I'd say, of finishing in the top 4. Arsenal, it's not looking good for Arsenal right now, let's be real. 2 of their home fixtures are against Liverpool and Leicester, and they've only got 4 fixtures at the Emirates and 6 away from home, including trips to Spurs, Wolves, Man City and relegation fighting Aston Villa. Arsenal have got some tricky trips. They've got 10 games to go and 6 of them away from home. I'm not going to be backing Arsenal for the top 4. Spurs. Now, Spurs are one of the lucky ones. They've actually got more games at home than they do away, but we've already said that that home advantage might not really be so relevant these days. Spurs have got some very tricky matches at home. They've got London derbies against West Ham and Arsenal, United, Leicester and Everton. That is some tricky fixtures with trips to Bournemouth, Palace, Newcastle and Sheffield United. I think Spurs will probably be looking at those fixtures thinking the away games are actually more favourable for them at this point. Let's take a look at Wolves' remaining fixtures as well. Wolves have got 4 matches at home and 5 away. The home games actually look quite nice for Wolves. They've got Bournemouth, Palace, Everton and Arsenal. I don't think Wolves lose any of those ones. West Ham away, Sheffield United away, Chelsea away of course as well. That'll be a big game. Burnley and Aston Villa. There's actually quite a nice list of fixtures for Wolves, even though they've still got some tricky ones in there. Every game in the Premier League is a tricky one. I don't know why I'm trying to sugarcoat any of this. Wolves probably back themselves, considering they've not actually lost many games this season. Manchester United, 4 games at Old Trafford. Now, we're bringing this in now. United are currently in 5th, and I think Manchester United are probably Chelsea's biggest threat at this point to finishing in the top 4. So we're going to spend a lot more time looking through United's fixtures. If we take a look at the away fixtures, United will probably back themselves in the majority of these. Aston Villa away, they back themselves to win that. Brighton away, Palace away, and then they've got Leicester away, which could be a big game if they want to drag Leicester back into the race for the top 4 as opposed to being one of the confirmed teams. A United win there can make things interesting. Sheffield United at home, they should back themselves there despite them being in close proximity in the table. West Ham at home, Southampton at home, Bournemouth at home. West Ham and Bournemouth will probably be fighting relegation, but United should. Looking at the way they've been playing recently, I think United are going to be Chelsea's biggest challengers for that place in the top 4. They've also got to go to Spurs as well. There's only so much that we can tell about looking at all of the fixtures. I've just given it like a little rounded look so that you guys can see it within this video compared to Chelsea's fixtures for the remainder of the season. There are going to be so many variables that we're going to have to measure between now and the end of the season as we see how teams progress. There is going to be an increased risk of injury because obviously players are going to be coming back. We're not sure entirely how hard and heavy the training sessions from club to club is going to be. Some players not happy with the contact training. If they're introduced to things late, again, it's going to change things regarding injuries. It's going to change things regarding squad selection. There is still the possibility also between now and the Premier League restarting that some players could potentially contract the virus, which again is going to be an injury within itself. So there are so many things that we still will have to look at and we're going to have to take it day by day. Things can still change, and of course a lot of what's happened throughout this coronavirus pandemic, if we take it away from football for a second, is there's not really been the right way to deal with things. It's been almost on like a day-by-day basis where we see case numbers rising, case numbers lowering, lockdowns increased or lockdowns taken away and reduced. We don't know what's going to happen between now and the 17th of June, but one thing I will say is it's time to get excited. Whether you believe football should be coming back or not, it is, by the looks of things. So I'm going to just do what I did at the start of this video again. Chelsea, 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 Chelsea. Every single day until it does. But what I want to know from you guys in the comments section below, we've talked about Chelsea and Frank Lampard finally having a full squad to choose from. Do you think, we're currently in the top 4, do you think Chelsea are going to have enough between now and the end of the season, looking at the fixtures, to finish in a Champions League place? If we do, I think it could be a huge summer for Chelsea Football Club, with Roman Abramovich able to spend, other clubs not able to spend. This is Chelsea's chance to bridge the gap from City and Liverpool so that next season we could potentially be challenging for the title. And that is what I'm going to leave you on today. Let me know if you think it's possible in the comments down below. With 3 points clear of United at the moment, 5 adrift of Leicester and 9 adrift of Manchester City. Will City drop back in it? I don't think they will. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe to the George Benson Football channel if you're new and you haven't done so already. And I will see you all later. Bye-bye.